again with you all with a new topic of mathematics, that is quadratic equations. So let's see what is quadratic equations. As we have seen in the chapter polynomial that quadratic means 2. Whenever we are making a polynomial with degree 2, it is known as your quadratic polynomial. And when we are equating the quadratic polynomial equivalent to 0, we are getting a quadratic equation. Suppose I am saying that this is a quadratic polynomial 2x square plus 3x plus 7 is a quadratic polynomial. When we will equate this quadratic polynomial equivalent to 0, it becomes a quadratic equations. So any polynomial which is, suppose I am taking a polynomial px whose degree is 2, if we are equating this polynomial equivalent to 0, we are getting a quadratic equations. That simply means any equation with the degree 2 is known as quadratic equation. Now let's see what is the standard form of the quadratic equation. We know that for the quadratic polynomial, the standard form is ax square plus bx plus c. If this is a quadratic polynomial in x, we can write it as px also. And if we are equating it equivalent to 0, it becomes the standard form of the quadratic equation. That means ax square plus bx plus c equivalent to 0 is the standard form of the quadratic equation. Again over here, a cannot be 0 because if a will be 0, this whole term will become 0, and instead of a quadratic equation, it will become a linear equation. So a cannot be 0 and a, b, c are any real numbers. For representing any of the quadratic equation in terms of its standard form, always we need to arrange all the terms in order of their descending order in order to degrees. That means initially we will be taking the highest degree term with the highest degree, then lower degree and then lower degree. In the decreasing order of their degrees, we will be arranging all the terms. Whenever we are arranging all the terms in the decreasing order of their degree, whatsoever the equation we are getting is it's in standard form. So we can say that the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equivalent to 0, because all the terms over here are arranged in the descending order of their degree. Now let's see what is the solution and what are the roots of a quadratic equation. So we have seen in the chapter polynomial that the roots, that the zeros of the quadratic polynomial, like px is a quadratic polynomial. Suppose it was your 2x square plus 3x plus 7. This is a quadratic polynomial we have taken. So once we are getting the zeros of this quadratic polynomial, whatsoever the zeros of the quadratic polynomial are there, that will be the roots of the quadratic equation also. Means whatsoever the zeros of this will be there, that will be the roots of the quadratic equation. Both are same. That means if we are taking a real number, suppose I am taking a real number a, and if we are replacing this a by x, wheresoever x is coming in this equation, if we will replace this x by a, and by replacing this a, if your LHS part becomes equivalent to the RHS part, or your this equation becomes true, then we say that this real number a is the root of this equation. That means this is the solution of this equation. So simply solution means the value of the variable. If we are going to replace the value of the variable by any of the real number, wheresoever your variable is coming, if we will replace this variable by any real number, and for that particular real number, if your equation becomes true, that means that will be the solution or the root of that particular your quadratic equation. Just now we have seen that if we are going to replace the variable of a quadratic equation, suppose I am taking the equation as x square plus x minus 2 equivalent to 0. It is a quadratic equation. If we are going to replace these variables by any real number, and for that real number, if your equation becomes true, then that real number will be the solution of a quadratic equation. Over here, by trial and error, suppose we are going to keep x is equivalent to 1 in this equation. Now, if we will keep x is equivalent to 1 in this equation, so I am taking the LHS part over here, that is your x square plus x minus 2. If we will replace this x by 1, then it will become 1 square plus 1 minus 2, that is 1 plus 1 minus 2, or we can say it as 2 minus 2 or 0, which is equivalent to your RHS part. That means if we are going to keep x is equivalent to 1 in this equation, your equation becomes true, your LHS part become equivalent to the RHS part. That's the reason this x is equivalent to 1 will be the solution of this quadratic equation. So the value of any real number, if we are going to replace this real number, wheresoever your x is coming in the equation, we will be replacing this x by the real number, and if your equation becomes true, then this real number will be the root of the quadratic equation. Hope it is clear. Now there are various methods of finding the roots of a quadratic equation. This is the trial and error method. Now some methods are your first method is your factorization by middle term splitting. We have done in the chapter polynomial also. For the quadratic polynomials, we have factorized the middle term, and by that we had found the zeros of the quadratic polynomial. And just now we have said whatsoever the zeros of the quadratic polynomial are, the same are the roots for the quadratic equations also. So by factorization, the middle term splitting, we can find the zeros of your quadratic polynomial or your roots of the quadratic equation. Now the second method is your using quadratic formula. This quadratic formula is even known as Sridharacharya formula. These two are the same. The quadratic formula is also known as your Sridharacharya formula. We will be discussing it. Third method is your completing square method. This is beyond our syllabus, so we won't be discussing this method in this chapter. We will be discussing first two methods of finding roots of the quadratic equations. Let's see how to find the roots of the quadratic equations. The method which we'll be using is factorization by middle term splitting. As the name suggests, we need to split the middle term. We know that in a quadratic equation, there could be maximum of 3 terms could be there. So, and in a quadratic equation, maximum of 2 roots could be there. For any quadratic equation, there could be maximum of 2 roots. It is even possible that there is only one real root, or it is even possible that there is no real root. But at the max, we can have 2 real roots of a quadratic equation. Now here what we will be doing is, by middle term splitting, we will be splitting the middle term into 2 parts. That means this term will be written in 2 parts, such that if we will be adding those 2 parts, those 2 terms, it will be equivalent to the middle term, and the multiplication of those 2 terms should be equivalent to the multiplication of first and third term. Now let's see. We can write 6x as x plus 5x. Now why we have written this? Because 6x, if we will add these two, x plus 5x will be 6x. That means when we will be adding these two terms, the sum should be equivalent to the middle term, that is equivalent to 6x. And the product of these two terms, one term is your x, another term is your 5x. When we will multiply these two terms, the product is coming as 5x square, and this product should be equivalent to the product of first and third term. If we will multiply the first and third term, the product will be x square multiplied by 5, that is your 5x square. So the product of first and third term should be equivalent to product of these two terms, in which we have splitted the middle term, and addition of these two terms should be equivalent to the middle term. This is how we have to split the middle term. That means we have to split the middle term in 2 terms, such that the sum of these 2 terms should be equivalent to the middle term, and multiplication of these 2 terms should be equivalent to the product of first and third term. Now from the first 2 terms we will be taking common, and from the last 2 terms we will be taking common. Here we can see in the first 2 term x is common. If we will take this x common, in the first term remaining part will be your x, and now here we have taken x common, so remaining will be your 1. Now in these two terms 5 could be taken common. If we have taken 5 common, here in this term remaining will be your x and here it will be 1. Your these two brackets should be equal. If it is not coming equal, that means somewhere you have done mistake. So it should be equal. Here we can see, here it is even x plus 1, here it is even x plus 1. Now this is one of the term and this is one of the term. We will be taking common from these two terms. So x plus 1 could be taken common. Here if we have taken x plus 1 common, the remaining part is your x, and here after taking x plus 1 common, the remaining part is your 5. So this could be written as x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 5 equivalent to 0. Now the product of two terms could be 0 when any of these two terms will be 0. Then only it is possible that the product of two terms will come equivalent to 0. So we are assuming either this is 0 or this is 0. So if x plus 1 is equivalent to 0, so value of x will be minus 1. This is one of the root of the equation, and if we will be taking x plus 5 equivalent to 0, in that case value of x will be minus 5. This is another root of the equation. So by splitting the middle term, we can find the two roots of the quadratic equation. Here in this case we are getting two roots, but it is not compulsory that always we will be getting two real roots from a quadratic equation. So these are the values of the x for which your this equation will become true. Now we are taking another example. Over here the quadratic equation is root 3 of x square plus 10x plus 7 root 3 equivalent to 0. Here we can see we have to split this middle term into two parts such that sum should be equivalent to 10x and product should be equivalent to product of these two terms. Here one of the term is your first term is root 3x square and the third term is your 7 root 3. If we will multiply these two, root 3 multiplied by root 3 will be 3 into 7 into x square, that is 21x square. That means we have to split 10x into two parts such that sum of these two parts should be equivalent to 10x and product should be equivalent to your 21x square. Now see, we can write it as root 3x square plus 10x could be written as 3x plus 7x, and this 7 root 3 we will write it as it is. Now see, if we will be adding these two, 3x plus 7x, sum will be equivalent to 10x. And if we will multiply these two, 3 multiplied by 7 will be 21, x multiplied by x will be x square. So the sum will be equivalent to 10x and multiplication is equivalent to your 21x square. Now the same we will be doing from the first two terms. We will be taking common. Here this 3 could be written as root 3 multiplied by root 3. 3 could be written as root 3 multiplied by root 3. So here root 3 we have taken common. Here x is there, here x is square, so 1x we have taken common. Now root 3x we have taken common. The remaining will be your x from this part, and from this part, because 3 could be written as root 3 into root 3, 1 root 3 we have taken common, so it will be your root 3 here. Now in these two terms 7 could be taken common and the remaining part will be your, from here x will be the remaining part and from this term root 3 will be the remaining part. Now we can see that this bracket is coming same. That means till now whatsoever we have done is correct. Now we will be moving further. From this one term and this one term we need to take common, and this bracket is your common. So we will be taking common as x plus root 3 will be common and the remaining will be your root 3x plus 7. Here root 3x will be the remaining part and here your 7 will be the remaining part, and it is equivalent to 0. Now the product of these two is equivalent to 0. That means either of these two brackets will be 0. So now we are assuming that this bracket, that means if x plus root 3 is 0, in that case your value of x will be minus of root 3. And if your second bracket that is your root 3x plus 7 is equivalent to 0. In that case, root 3x will be equivalent to minus 7 and x will be equivalent to minus 7 upon root 3. Generally in the denominator we don't take radical sign. So for rationalizing we can multiply it by root 3 and divide it by root 3. So it will become minus 7 root 3 upon 3. So one of the root is your x is equivalent to minus root 3 and another could be your minus 7 root 3 over 3. So by middle term splitting we can find the roots of the quadratic equation. Hope it is clear. Till now we have seen how to find roots of a quadratic equation using middle term splitting. Now we'll be seeing how to find roots of the quadratic equation using quadratic formula. We know or we have seen just now that ax square plus bx plus c equivalent to 0 is the standard form of the quadratic equation, where a is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x and c is the constant term. If this is the standard form of the quadratic equation, so we can find roots of the quadratic equation by the formula minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Using this formula, directly we can find roots of any quadratic equation. As just now we have discussed that for a quadratic equation, at the max there could be 2 real roots. It is even possible that there is only one real root, and it is even possible that there is no real root for any quadratic equation. So using this formula, we can find the roots of any quadratic equation. What we need to do is, whatsoever the equation is given to us, we have to convert that equation into this standard form. And once we have converted the given equation into the standard form, we can compare the coefficients of x square, we can compare the coefficients of x and the constant term, and we will be getting the values of a, b and c. And once we are having the values of a, b and c, we can keep these values in the given formula and we can find the values of the roots. What all are the roots of the quadratic equation? This formula is your quadratic formula. Now let's see, we can understand this using an example. Suppose the question is your 8x square plus 2x minus 3 equivalent to 0. If we will compare this equation by the standard form of the equation, that is your ax square plus bx plus c equivalent to 0, then we can say that the coefficient of x square, that is a, it is equivalent to 8. Value of b, that is coefficient of x, is 2. Value of c, that is constant term, it is equivalent to minus 3. Now once we are knowing the values of a, b, c, we can find the roots. So for finding roots, we will be using the quadratic formula, that is minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Now we will be keeping the values of a, b, c in the formula, and we will be getting value of b is 2, so minus of 2 plus minus b square is square of 2 minus 4, value of a is 8 and value of c is minus 3 upon 2a, value of a is 8. So we have kept the values of a, b, c. Now what we will be solving it further, minus 2 plus minus square of 2 will be 4, minus minus will become plus, 4 3s are 12, 12 8 is 96 over 2 multiplied by 8 is 16. So from here minus 2 plus minus 4 plus 96 will be 100 and square root of 100 will be 10. Directly I have written 10 over here. So now we can see that there is plus minus sign. That means once we will be considering the plus sign and the second condition we will be considering the minus sign. So this is how we will be getting the two roots. So first, when we are considering the plus sign, it will become minus 2 plus 10 upon 16. This will be the first root when we are considering the positive sign, and when we will consider the negative sign, it will be minus 2 minus 10 upon 16. So if this is the case, minus 2 plus 10 will become 8 upon 16, or we can say 1 upon 2. So one of the root will be 1 upon 2. from this condition, minus 2 minus 10 will be minus of 12 upon 16. So 4 3s are 12, 4 4 is 16. So another root will be minus 3 upon 4. So this is how, by your quadratic formula, we can easily find the roots of any quadratic equation. Now let's see another example, that is your x square plus 4x plus 4 equivalent to 0. If again we'll be comparing this equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation, we can see that the coefficient of x square is 1. That means value of a is 1. Coefficient of x, that is b, is equivalent to 4. And the constant term is 4. These are the values of a, b and c. Now once we are having the values of a, b, c, we can find the roots easily using the formula, that is minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Now keeping the values, minus b, value of b is 4, so it will be minus 4 plus minus root of b square is 4 square, minus 4, value of a is 1 and value of c is 4 upon 2a, value of a is 1. So we can solve it further. Minus 4 plus minus square of 4 will be 16, minus 4 into 4 will be 16 over 2. Now we can see 16 minus 16 will be 0 and square root of 0 will also be 0. So we can see over here plus 0 over 2. Now here, if we will be taking plus sign or we will be taking the minus sign, in both the cases your answer will be same, because either adding 0 or subtracting 0 won't make any change. So once we are taking the positive sign, minus 4 plus 0 by 2, that is minus 4 by 2, or you can say minus 2. And if you will be taking the negative sign, minus 4 minus 0 by 2, that will be minus 4 by 2, that is minus 2. So this is the condition when your both the roots are same. That means we got only one real root. So I just told you that the condition could be that we are getting two real roots, or the condition could be that we are getting only one real root. In this type of condition, your both the roots are exactly same. That means we are getting only one root, one real root. And it is even could be the condition that we are not getting any real root. Till now we had learned how to find roots of the quadratic equation using factorization method and quadratic formula. Now, without actually finding the roots of the quadratic equation, we can find the nature of the roots. Let's see how we can find the nature of the roots. We have just now seen that the quadratic formula is minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Now, if we will be solving the b square minus 4ac and the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we will be having two distinct real roots. That means we need not to solve the whole formula. Simply by solving b square minus 4ac, if the value of the b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we will be having two distinct real roots, and the roots will be, one of the root will be minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a, and the another root will be minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. These will be the two distinct roots if the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. Now, if the value of b square minus 4ac is exactly equivalent to 0, then we can see that this part will become 0. And if this part is 0, that means plus minus 0 will be 0 only. Then we will be having two equal real roots. Means roots will be same. That's the reason we will be saying that we will be having only one root, because both the two roots which we will be getting are equal. Their value will be equal, and the value of these roots will be minus b by 2a, because this part will become 0 in that case. B square minus 4ac is 0, that means this part will become 0. So we will be having two equal real roots and the value will be minus b upon 2a. Now if the value of b square minus 4ac is less than 0, that means if the value over here is negative, in that case we will not be having any real roots, because in the square root sign there will be a negative number, and if there is a negative number in the square root sign, then its value is imaginary. It's not real. That will be learning in class 11. Then the value will be imaginary. That's the reason if the value of b square minus 4ac is less than 0, then we will not have any real root. We won't be having that. Now if we can see, if the value of b square minus 4ac is a perfect square, if the value of this will be a perfect square, that means it will come out of the square root sign and we will be getting some value without square root sign. In that case we will be getting any rational number. Means roots will be rational if the value of b square minus 4ac will be a perfect square. If it will be a perfect square, there won't be a square root sign in your roots and we will be getting a rational number. Means roots will be a rational if b square minus 4ac is a perfect square. Now if b square minus 4ac is not a perfect square, if it is not a perfect square, then whatsoever the value we will be getting, means whatsoever the roots we will be getting, they will be irrational in nature. They won't be rational, that means they will be irrational, because they will be square root sign will be there in the roots. That's the reason it will be irrational if the value of b square minus 4ac is not a perfect square. Now we can see from here that if b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then also we are getting the real roots, and if b square minus 4ac is equivalent to 0, then also we are getting the real roots. That means the condition for the real roots will be that if b square minus 4ac is either greater than or equivalent to 0, in that case we will be getting real roots. That means for real roots the condition is not this. It is for the condition for two distinct real roots. It is the condition for two equal real roots. But for real roots the condition will be b square minus 4ac is greater than equivalent to 0. Now whatsoever the nature of the roots we are getting, it is all depending upon b square minus 4ac. Because the nature of the root is depending upon b square minus 4ac, that's the reason b square minus 4ac is known as discriminant of quadratic equation. If it is asked that what will be the discriminant of this quadratic equation, we have to find the value of b square minus 4ac. This is known as discriminant of quadratic equation. So we came to know that for two distinct real roots, the value of b square minus 4ac should be greater than 0. For two equal real roots, the value of b square minus 4ac should be equivalent to 0. For no real root, the value of b square minus 4ac should be less than 0. For rational roots, the value of b square minus 4ac should be a perfect square. For irrational roots, the value of b square minus 4ac will not be a perfect square, and for real roots, b square minus 4ac will be greater than equivalent to 0. Hope you must have understood that without actually finding the roots of the quadratic equation, how to find the nature of the quadratic equations. Let's see some questions related to the concepts we have learned just now. Which of the following is a quadratic equation? So we need to solve it first. This is the first question. X plus 2 whole square is equivalent to x square plus 3x plus 2. It seems like it is a quadratic equation, so just check it out once. A plus b whole square will be a square plus 2ab, 2 into x into 2 will be 4x plus b square, that is your 2 square, that is 4. So expansion of this will be a plus b whole square, that is a square plus 2ab plus b square, where a is your x and b is your 2. It is equivalent to x square plus 3x plus 2. Now we can see x square here also, x square here also. So both are going to cancel. Why? Because if this plus x square will come over here, it will be negative x square. So both are going to cancel. So it will become 4x. This 3x will come in the LHS part, so will become minus 3x plus 4. This plus 2 will come in the LHS, will become minus 2, and it will be 4x minus 3x, that is x. 4 minus 2 is 2. It is equivalent to 0. So we can see that it was looking like it will be a quadratic equation, but actually it is a linear equation. So we need to solve it first to check whether it is a quadratic equation or not. Now see the another question. Here x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 2 is equivalent to 2x plus 1 multiplied by 2x plus 3. So first of all we will be multiplying these two brackets. So x will be multiplied by x plus 2, then plus 1 will be multiplied by x plus 2. So x multiplied by x will be x square, x multiplied by 2 will be 2x, 1 multiplied by x will be x, then 1 multiplied by 2 will be 2. Now the RHS part, 2x multiplied by 2x will be 4x square, 2x multiplied by 3 will be 6x, 1 multiplied by 2x will be 2x, plus 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. So x square, 2x plus x will be 3x plus 2. This 4x will come here, will become minus 4x square. 6x plus 2x will be 8x. When we will change the direction, it will be minus 8x. This plus 3 will become minus 3, equivalent to 0. All these terms we have taken in the left hand side. Now, like terms is your x square and minus 4x square. So x square minus 4x square will be minus 3x square. 3x minus 8x will be minus 5x. Plus 2 minus 3 will be minus 1, equivalent to 0. We can take minus common also. So it could even be written as 3x square plus 5x plus 1 equivalent to 0. Both means the same. Now we can see over here the degree is of this equation is your 2. That means it is a quadratic equation. Now we need to find the nature of roots of the following equation. Just now we had discussed that for finding the nature of the roots, we need to find the value of the discriminant, that is denoted by capital D, that is your b square minus 4ac. We need to find this value. If we will compare this equation 5x square plus x plus 3 with the general form of the equation, standard form of the equation, then the value of a is your 5, ax square plus bx plus c. Value of b, that is coefficient of x, is your 1 and value of c is 3. Now if we will be keeping these values in b square minus 4ac, we will be getting b square, that means 1 square minus 4, value of a is 5 and value of c is 3. That is 1 minus 4, 5 is 20, 20 into 3 will be 60, 1 minus 60 is minus 59. So the value of d is less than 0 because it is a negative value. So value of d is less than 0, and we know that if the value of d, that is discriminant, is less than 0, in that case we won't be having any real root. Real root won't be there. That means this quadratic equation will not have any real root. Now the second question is 4x square plus 12x plus 9. If we will compare it with the standard form of the quadratic equation, we can see the value of a is 4, value of b is 12 and value of c is 9. Now what will be the value of the discriminant b square minus 4ac? Let's check it out. B is your 12, square of 12 minus 4, value of a is 4, value of c is 9, square of 12 will be 144, 4 4 16, 16 multiplied by 9 is 144, that is your 0. So the value is coming, value of the b square minus 4ac is coming equivalent to 0. So when d is 0, we know that the roots will be equal real roots. Both the roots will be equal and they will be real in nature. So both the roots will be equal, we will be having equal roots. So equal real roots will be there. So by finding the value of b square minus 4ac, we will come to know that what will be the nature of the roots. Let's understand few more questions related to this chapter. Find value of k for which roots of equation 5x square minus 4x plus 2k is equivalent to 0 are equal. So just now we had discussed that for equal roots, the condition is b square minus 4ac should be equivalent to 0. That means the discriminant b square minus 4ac, if the value of this will be 0, then we will be having equal roots for the quadratic equation. So if we will compare this quadratic equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation, then we can see that the coefficient of x square, that is 5, is the value of a, coefficient of x will be the value of b, and constant term will be the value of c. That means value of a is 5, value of b is minus 4, and value of c is 2k. Now we will be keeping these values of ABC in the b square minus 4ac and equating it equivalent to 0 for equal roots. So b is minus 4. So minus 4 square minus 4. Value of a is 5. C is 2k. It is equivalent to 0. So we can solve it further. Minus 4 square will be 16. Minus 4 5 is 20. 20 into 2 will be 40k is equivalent to 0, or we can say 16 is equivalent to 40k, or k is equivalent to 16 upon 40. 8 2s are 16, 8 5 is 40. That means if the value of k is 2 by 5, then this equation will have equal roots. Hope it is clear that for equal roots, your b square minus 4ac should be 0. From the equation, we had taken the values of a, b, c and kept in this equation and solved it further for the value of k. Now let's see another question. Find value of k for which roots of equation kx square minus 6x minus 1 equivalent to 0 are not real. So we know that for not real condition, d, that is your b square minus 4ac, should be less than 0. For not real condition, for the roots of the equation, if it is not real, for that your value of b square minus 4ac should be less than 0. Now again, if we will compare this equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation, we can see that value of a is k, value of b is minus 6, and value of c is minus 1. Now when we will keep these values over here, we will be getting b square, that means minus 6 whole square, minus 4, value of a is k, value of c is minus 1, it should be less than 0. That means minus 6 square will be 36, minus minus will become plus, so plus 4k should be less than 0. Or we can say 4k should be less than minus 36. This plus 36 will go over there, will become minus 36, and value of k will be less than minus 36 divided by 4, that is 9. That means value of k should be less than minus 9. Means if the value of k will be less than minus 9, for all those values of k, the equation will not have real roots. Hope these type of questions and the concepts of the chapter is clear to you. This is all about this chapter for now. We will be soon coming with the more questions related to this chapter. Please do like and subscribe the channel for more concepts related to mathematics, for more chapters, for more topics related to mathematics. Thank you.